Hi, I'm Dave, founder of Halloween Year Round, and Happy New Year! It is officially 2024. Got a new haircut, got an awesome new horror hoodie for my Secret Santa present at work, and things are looking good for this new year. I know everyone says that every year, but I'm serious. This one is going to be a good one, and do you know why? Because there's a lot of fun and exciting new things happening right here at Halloween Year Round this year. I know that this channel has had some periods of, a lot of stuff going on, and then, months of inactivity. All of that's going to change now, because in this year, I'm making this pledge and promise right now. We're going to have a new video every single week. We're going to upload every Sunday morning. I know we're uploading this on a Monday. That's only because this is New Year's Day, but then going forward, every Sunday, we're going to have something for you, usually some sort of review / discussion about whatever the newest thing that came out, either in theaters or on streaming, or maybe like an important movie anniversary or something. But the point is, we will have something every week for you, truly embracing the year-round part of our name, Halloween Year Round. So now that it is New Year's Day, one of my favorite things to do this time of year is we spend the whole last week or two of December looking back on the year we just passed, but today's about looking forward. So today I'm looking at the top 10 most anticipated horror movies coming out this year, 2024. These are just the ones that I'm personally most excited for. By no means is this going to be like the top 10 movies of the year. I haven't seen any of them yet. I don't know if they're good or not. I hope they are. But these are just the ones that, entering this new year, these are the movies I am most excited to watch. So, let's kick things off with Destroy All Neighbors. So this one's actually going to be the first one on this list coming out, only in the end of next week. It's going to be a Shudder original. It's got Alex Winter from Bill and Ted, and it's like this weird, my neighbor is a demon monster thing. Based on the trailer, I love these, cheesy looking practical effects that you can tell are practical and you can tell are done with heart and soul. It reminds me a lot of what we got last year with Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. So I'm really, really excited to see what we do with Destroy All Neighbors. I'll definitely be there covering it in just a couple weeks. Lisa Frankenstein. This movie is actually being directed by Zelda Williams, daughter of Robin Williams. She's recently, she's kind of gotten in the film business. This is her directorial debut. It's coming out just in time for Valentine's Day. I'm a huge fan of Catherine Newton. I think she definitely proved herself in, Paranormal Activity, in Freaky. She was also in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but I liked her in that movie. And this just seems like a weird, fun, almost, YA teen-centered take on Frankenstein, and, I'm all for it. It has a very, I'm not sure if it's actually set in the 80s, or if it just has, a very 80s, colorful, neon vibe, but I'm digging the production design from the trailers, and I'm really excited to see what this movie has in store. Imaginary. This movie had me at, killer, scary teddy bear. I love when a movie kind of takes something so innocent, so ordinary, and just, let's make it scary, let's make it creepy. And that seems like that's exactly what Blumhouse is doing with this one. Again, just based on the trailer alone, it looks absolutely insane and ridiculous. And we need more of that. I think that I'm all for studio horror and big budget horror, but then you need weird little things like this to kind of get you through the year. The Watchers. So initially, I actually thought this was a new M. Night Shyamalan movie. It is not. His daughter is directing, and she's been kind of helping him out behind the scenes on his last couple movies. This is her directorial debut. I'm really interested and curious to see it. It's got a cool premise. It's got Dakota Fanning. I think that, M. Night has certainly had his ups and downs when it comes to, his own movies, but I like that this is a fresh, new, young director, up and coming. She is connected with him. She certainly has been under his guidance. But I'm going to, 50-50. It could go either way. I'm going to bet positive that I'm genuinely interested to see in what she has to do, what she has to say, and hopefully this is the start of a new career for the Shyamalan family, and hopefully she will not have the same downs that her father did, or maybe she has to. Maybe that's just what builds character when you're a director. Beetlejuice 2. Now, how could I talk about my most anticipated movies of the year and not talk about Beetlejuice 2? A sequel more than 30 years in the making. This is one that I'm excited for. I'm also very apprehensive towards. Out of all the movies on this list, this is the one that I'm most concerned about. And I say that because, is this going to be the same Tim Burton who made Beetlejuice? Who made Edward Scissorhands? Who made Sleepy Hollow? Or is this going to be the same Tim Burton who made Dumbo and the Planet of the Apes remake and Alice in Wonderland? I don't know which one it's going to be. I feel like I loved, Michael Keaton is going to absolutely bring it, just like he did in stepping back into playing Bruce Wayne in The Flash. So I have no doubt that he will be awesome as Beetlejuice. I have no doubt that Winona Ryder will deliver as Lydia again. Jenna Ortega, she seems like a very natural choice. Like, of course she would be in this movie. Like, who else would be? What other up-and-coming, now kind of A-lister has made such a mark in the horror genre? So it's kind of expected that she would be in it. That being said, I hope they use her right, and I hope that this movie proves that it was truly worth the 30 years in the making. Unlike Hocus Pocus 2, which I didn't like so much, I don't even want to talk about it. So, we'll see. I'm very much anticipating this movie, but this is the one that I'm most concerned with. I really hope it's good. I'm rooting for you, Tim Burton. Let's see if you deliver. Saw 11. Well, the jury's finally decided. It was called Saw 10 and not Saw X based on this, unless we're calling this movie Saw XI, which I'm all for, phonetically saying the Roman numerals. But I loved what they did with Saw 10. This was a franchise that seemed like it was dead. It had tried twice to kind of soft reboot itself. Both of them failed with fans and critics. And Saw 10 just blew everyone away. It showed that they finally understood the reason we liked those movies had nothing to do with the traps and all that. That was just the icing on the cake. It was John Kramer that we liked. And as long as this movie continues that, they could very well do a direct sequel to Saw 10, which I believe is the route they're going with, where, he continues to pursue the other people who were involved in that scam. But you could just as easily have this movie take place between Saws 2 and 3 and kind of deal with what was going on then. I really hope we get more of John and Amanda and Detective Hoffman all kind of interacting together. I really love the dynamic they had and how, Amanda and Hoffman were, bickering children, both, trying to get the approval of Jigsaw Daddy, which, please don't make that a meme, Jigsaw Daddy, but, I hated that we only got, one brief little snippet of that in the original Saw series and Saw 6, and there's so much opportunity here to do more of that. There's opportunity to bring back some of the detective characters who had no scenes together, but you could put them all in a scene together in this one. So, very excited to see that, and just maybe this is the start of having Saw movies just in time for Halloween every year again. We'll see. Smile 2. Now, the first Smile was one of those movies that came out 2022. It was in my top 5 movies of that year. And it just blew everyone away. I was not expecting it to go as hard as it did, to be as creepy as it was, to just be as disturbing as it was. I absolutely loved it. It was the type of movie that had me... I was still thinking about it, days and weeks later. Now, I mentioned that Beetlejuice 2 was the movie I was most concerned about. This is the movie I'm second most concerned about. Only because I've seen what happens with popular supernatural horror movies that get a sequel only because of the popularity of the first one. The first Smile was, in my opinion, a masterpiece. That doesn't necessarily mean that there was more to do with the story. It certainly could continue the story in a really interesting way and expand on mythology. Or it might just do the exact same thing the first one did and just call it a day. Because, let's face it, that's not an uncommon thing to do. So, I'm really, really hopeful that it's the former and not the latter. Either way, I am very much excited to see this. I am very much anticipating this one. Terrifier 3. My man Art the Clown is back for one last hurrah, the end of the trilogy that we didn't even know we were getting. This is a movie that the more I hear about it, only the more excited I get for it. I've full disclosure, for the past 2 years, ever since Terrifier 2 came out, I've met the cast and crew. I've talked to them at conventions, and just the more they talk about this, the more I'm excited for it. It's going to be a Christmas slasher. Damien Leone wants to go back to basics and have it just be like nasty and gritty and grindhouse, and that's what I loved about the first one. The second one, very heavy on plot, very heavy on mythology. The first one just felt like this nasty, dirty, gritty, underground VHS tape that you weren't supposed to find, but you found it in a back alley and put it in your VCR and were shocked by the images, particularly when he saws the woman in half like a magician, only this time there is no trick, he's actually doing it. And I really hope that Terrifier 3 is able to take both of those elements and combine them. So, very excited for this movie. Terrifier 2, it was the little indie movie that could. It was only supposed to play for like one weekend in October 2022 and was so successful and so demanded, it wound up playing for over a month. It grossed over $10 million on a $250,000 budget, and it's just, I love these like Cinderella stories with indie horror movies. And I love the fact that Damien Leone, because, he decided to do this one independently again. Because no studio was going to back the crazy, disturbing, gross, disgusting, grotesque murders he was going to show on screen. And I love that he was able to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to do this on my own again. And we will all benefit from that unrated version in theaters. So bring your vomit bags, because it's going to get gory. Nosferatu. This is a movie that I almost forgot they were doing. But just over like the last month, we've gotten a lot of like publicity photos and on-set photos of like Willem Dafoe in costume and character and Lily Rose Depp in costume and character. And it's just, first of all, one of the most iconic horror movies of all time. One that has been remade in 1979 with Werner Herzog's Nosferatu the Vampire. And if anyone can capture that vibe, it's Robert Eggers. It's the man who made The Witch and The Lighthouse. If anyone understands how to do a sort of unconventional narrative style and tell a compelling horror movie with it, it's Robert Eggers. So I don't know if maybe it'll be silent, maybe it'll be black and white like the Lighthouse was. Maybe it'll be a combination of both. Maybe that's just it. There's a million maybes that this movie could be that has me so excited for it. I fully trust Robert Eggers at this point. He has never let me down. Even the one time he ventured out of horror and he made The Northman, this like insane, brutal, disturbing Viking fantasy myth epic that was everything that the last season of Game of Thrones should have been. So very much excited for what he has in store for Nosferatu, and I'm definitely going to stay tuned for it. And finally, Maxine. As of recording, this is the only movie on this list that does not have a specific release date already announced. We just know it is coming sometime in 2024. There were rumors that it will premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival in early 2024, but again, that remains yet to be seen. If that's the case, we're probably looking at a release maybe in the late summer, early fall. That might be a good time to release it. That's when, Pearl was released in September of 2022. So I think that would be a decent time to release this one. I want to see how this trilogy ends. I absolutely loved what Ty West did with both X and Pearl. The way he's like, what if we, meta make a good dirty movie, and the movie that they're describing is the movie that we're watching. It's like half, adult film, half Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then to go back with Pearl and develop this killer into a character that you're horrified by what she does, but oh my god, that monologue at the end. If that doesn't have you in tears, you don't have a soul. You relate to this character so much, and I'm bummed that we're not going to get any more of Pearl, because she's dead, and obviously, she was old in 1979 when X was set. But I kind of want to see Ty West and Mia Goth give her other character, Maxine, the same treatment and development that they gave to Pearl. And that's what I'm really excited to see with Maxine. So there you have it. Those are the 10 movies that I am most excited for in 2024. But let me know in the comments, what are you most looking forward to this year? You know, what movie trailers have you seen? You're like, oh, gotta see that this year. Are there any on my list that you're like, nah, I'm not really into that? You know, whatever it is, your favorites, your least favorites, leave a comment below and let me know. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. If you don't, you may end up being stalked and murdered in a gruesome way by Art the Clown, in a way so disturbing and gory that no major studio will finance it. And, as always, every day is Halloween. Except for today, because it's New Year's Day. But still...